Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin Brooke and I am a hairstylist and salon owner here in Western North Carolina. Today I'm actually going to be kicking off a back to basics series, which is basically going to be all about my cosmetology school experience, finding a salon, building a clientele, and exactly what it is that I've done to get where I am today. So if you are interested in a video like that or interested in cosmetology as a career, then be sure to keep watching and stay tuned for the next videos in my series. So starting off, what I did as far as school goes is when I was in high school, I was in 11th grade, we had to sign up for dual enrollment classes if we wanted to take college classes. And I knew that cosmetology was going to be something that I wanted to do, but I didn't know that they actually offered it as a dual enrollment class because no one had ever taken it before. And so I just kind of asked my counselor if I was able to do that. However, cosmetology is a full-time program and obviously high school is full-time too. So what I ended up doing was I went to high school full-time online and then I went to cosmetology school full-time as well. So I started cosmetology school in August of 2013. In the math, I was 16 years old whenever I started cosmetology school, and I ended up going to our local community college. I looked around at other schools to go to. I looked at a Paul Mitchell school, and then I looked at another like privately owned school that was about 45 minutes away from us, and the Paul Mitchell school was an hour and a half. However, after I did a little bit of research, I realized that cosmetology schools typically do not let you in until you're 18 years old. So that's something that's pretty important to look into if you're looking to go to school while you're in high school. Luckily for me, since we did have that dual enrollment program, I was able to kind of work things around, so I was able to go to cosmetology school because I did know that that's what I wanted to do for my career for my whole life. I did know from a super young age, but I will say that tons of girls in our cosmetology class were a lot older than me. There were only 2 girls that were 18, one that was 19, and then the rest were 30s and above. There was even one girl who started after me who was 76 years old, so that just goes to show you that it's never too late to go back to school and do something that you love. But cost and tuition, every single school is going to be like completely different as far as the cost of your kit and your tuition and all of those things. For our school, I don't know exactly how much it was because when you do a dual enrollment program here in our county, your college is actually paid for by the high school. And so my school was completely free. And then our kit, I do think, was around $1,500. And since I was 16 and my parents are super gracious, they ended up paying for that for me. So I did get to go to school completely debt free, which is a huge blessing in my life. And I definitely am thankful for that. However, schools can go up to $20,000 if you're looking at a Paul Mitchell school. I know for a fact that that's how much the one was when I looked at it, and that was going to be in 2013. So I can only imagine what it costs today to go there. So it's definitely a more expensive school. They do have financial aid options as well as loan programs. If that's not something that you can pay out of pocket, it's not an issue because you will definitely be able to get some loans and go to school just like you would any other university. So that being said, when it comes to choosing a school, it's super important that you go and visit the school in person and preferably during hours that there are actually students there. Getting to see the students' reactions when you come through the door and see how they're working, see if they're excited to be there, see their appearance will be a huge thing when it comes to choosing a school, and also kind of getting to know the teachers and seeing exactly what it is that you do on a daily basis because every school is so different. It will be super beneficial to you to visit those schools and kind of see which one feels like the right fit to you since you will be spending the next 2 years of your life there. I am super thankful, hindsight, that I ended up going to a community college because in my heart I wanted to go to that Paul Mitchell school so bad, but I've heard so many experiences of people getting out of school and not knowing anything other than that Paul Mitchell line or that Toni and Guy line, and they only know their techniques and then they don't know how to use anything else. And I think going to a community college, we kind of got thrown into that melting pot of every different color line, every different, styling product. And so we really got to learn different techniques and different styling products and things that we like to use so we can kind of pick and choose, versus when you go to a Paul Mitchell school, you're only allowed to use their products. And so you're really limited in your knowledge when you get out of school. So just keep that in mind when picking a school. So I will say for me that in cosmetology school, I really learned the bare basics. I did not accredit any of my education that I learned or my techniques that I do to this day to cosmetology school. It obviously was a necessary step in my career to kind of get the basics, learn color theory, know how to do people's hair without screwing it up. However, you cannot be a amazing hairstylist just by going to cosmetology school. So keep that in mind when choosing a school that you definitely want to invest in further education and learn other techniques outside of school. So don't spend all of your money on this amazing cosmetology school when you know that when you get out, you can learn all of these techniques through going to other classes and kind of getting yourself out there and learning things beyond cosmetology school. So for us here in North Carolina, and every single state is different, but we have to go for 1,500 hours and get a certain number of each service to graduate cosmetology school. We went for 4 semesters. They called it a 2-year program. However, we did go through the summer. So since I started in August of 2013, I graduated in December of 2014. So the program is definitely not super long by any means, and you can definitely get it done quicker. However, some schools let you graduate like as soon as you get your hours done, but at our community college, we did have to finish that entire semester, even if we already had our hours to graduate. When you start cosmetology school, every single school is going to give you a kit with all of the things that you need inside of it, be it your hair dryers, curling irons, scissors, thinning shears. All of those things are all going to be inside of your kit. So you really don't need to purchase anything outside of that other than when you kind of get more advanced and you want to upgrade your equipment, of course, but you do have the bare basics to work with you at school, and you definitely don't want to use any kind of expensive equipment on these mannequins because it will ruin your stuff. So using that cheaper kit stuff is awesome for cosmetology school to kind of learn the basics, and you can ruin that stuff and it doesn't really matter all that much. But once you've decided to sign up for your school, you get in, you have your kit, all of those things, you will pretty much be thrown into what is called a beginner's group. Every single school is going to have a little bit of a different style to this, but when we were in school, we started in the beginner class, and in North Carolina, I believe it's either 300 or 500 hours that you have to have before you ever touch a head. So thankfully our school did bookwork and mannequin work when we first started out, but some schools do only let you do bookwork until you hit those hours. So that's a very long time to only be doing bookwork. However, we got to learn some basic hair cutting techniques and curling and straightening and all of those things on the mannequins while we were doing bookwork. So on that first semester, it was typically half the day bookwork and then half of the day on the floor. Once you get past that first semester, then you'll have a theory class in the morning on the floor for most of the day, and then you'll go back to theory in the afternoon. And that's kind of how we would go about our day, and I feel like it worked really great for us because we were able to kind of continually get that hands-on experience while also learning the bookwork and not forgetting it because we did it as we went along. In every state, you're going to be licensed to do different things. However, in North Carolina, your cosmetology license will cover nails, skin, makeup, and hair. I will say that our school was definitely majority hair. We had a very small section on nails, a very small section on skin, and a super duper small section on makeup because our teachers didn't know how to do makeup. So if you're going to cosmetology school to be a makeup artist, I would highly recommend going to aesthetic school instead, because all you're really going to get out of that is the license to do it legally and know how to sanitize things properly. But for me, I was actually super interested in makeup and hair, but honestly, mostly makeup when I first started school. I ended up falling in love with doing hair while I was at school, so it kind of, turned my whole career around and it worked out perfect for me. However, some people are super dead set on only doing makeup, so I definitely wanted to throw that in here so you knew what you were getting yourself into. In school, we had a huge group of people when we started, and most people ended up dropping out or not doing hair anymore after we got out of school. And the reason being is a lot of people get into cosmetology school thinking it's gonna be this fun and easy experience, that we're just gonna play with each other's hair all day, when in reality there are so many different things that you're actually going to learn while you're in school. Even just in our first semester, we learned psychology, business, electricity, biology, anatomy and physiology, chemistry, so many more things, and we spent an entire semester on color chemistry. Just keep that in mind, that it's not going to all be fun and games, and in the end, if you do love your career, everything is going to be worthwhile, and you may end up loving those things that you learn in school, but some people definitely had the wrong idea about it and did not end up finishing school. So all in all, I'm super happy with my cosmetology school experience, and I definitely would recommend going to a community college if that's what's been on your mind. There's nothing wrong with doing that, and as long as you're furthering your education after you get out of school, then you will be perfectly fine. Now, I will say that my next video in this series is going to be all about finding a salon after you graduate hair school and my mistakes when I found my first salon. So if you're interested in seeing a video like that, definitely stay tuned for next week on Thursday, and make sure to hit that little bell button down below when you subscribe so that you know when that video goes live. Make sure to like this video if you are excited about this series, and I hope you guys have an awesome Thursday.